It is no secret that Obed Gutu's departure from the MDC Alliance was not a harmonious one. He joined up with Thokozani Kupe, another one who refused to join the People's Coalition, to form the MDC-T faction. Sadly, their faction performed badly in the 30th July 2018 elections, and Obed Gutu is not one to quietly lick his wounds. Gutu has revealed that he and fellow MDC ministers in the 2008 GNU purchased their official vehicles for less than $4,000 each. His former MDC colleagues are furious and have been accusing him of selling out to ZANU-PF. I've never been a ZANU-PF supporter all my life. I'm resolutely pro-Zimbabwe and against retrogressive politics. I'll continue to fearlessly and resolutely defend and uphold what's good for Zimbabwe, not necessarily what's good for certain political personalities. Gutu has hit back. It was USA President Lyndon Baines Johnson who once said, "I would rather have him inside the tent pissing out than outside the tent pissing in." He was answering why he had failed to sack Edgar J. Hoover. It was no secret that the two were not the best of friends. Chamisa will wish he had kept Gutu in the MDC Alliance tent because, knowing Obed Gutu as I do, he will be pissing into the Alliance tent on a regular basis. What makes Gutu's revelations so damaging and pernicious is that they are factual and true. There are several important lessons for us ordinary Zimbabweans to learn from Gutu's belated confessions. I'll just focus on three. Number one, our politicians are so utterly corrupt and incompetent that even after their soul on the road to Damascus revelation, they cannot help but revert back to their primeval default setting of lying. Obed Gutu has just confessed that he and others had been seduced by Mugabe's bribes, hence the reason they failed to implement even one democratic reform. The next minute, he's wittering about him being resolutely pro-Zimbabwe. Mr. Gutu, you and your fellow MDC friends were not being resolutely pro-Zimbabwe when you allowed yourself to be seduced by Mugabe's bribes and failed to implement even one democratic reforms in 5 years. In other words, there is nothing permanent about Mr. Gutu's Damascene moment. It is not the same soul to Paul transformation of the Bible, but rather that of a chameleon changing color to blend with his new surrounding. If Gutu was still in MDC Alliance tent, he would be vigorously denying MDC leaders betrayed the nation during the GNU, just as he had done before they kicked him out. Indeed, if he was to find himself in the new GNU, he would once again forget about implementing the reforms just as readily as he did in 2008 to 2013. He knows that Chamisa and others will do the same. And if they left him out of the new GNU, he will have his revenge, all right. Number two, MDC leaders and members alike have lashed out at Gutu, not because they did not buy the ministerial cars at giveaway prices. They are angry with Gutu for admitting it and thus showing them for the corrupt and incompetent individuals they are. everyone with half a working brain knew MDC leaders sold out during the GNU. The leaders do not want this to be publicly and widely known, because MDC's continued popularity depends on keeping the masses ignorant of such facts. Mugabe knew MDC leaders are corrupt and incompetent, and he exploited to the full. He and his party cronies even boasted about it. Mazwanu MDC adzidza kudya Nyerere. MDC people have learned to enjoy the trappings of high office. They will never rock the boat. Green. Last but most important of all, many Zimbabweans have refused, even now with the benefit of hindsight, to accept that Morgan Tsvangirai and his MDC friends are corrupt and incompetent and sold out in failing to implement the democratic reforms designed to stop ZANU-PF rigging elections. Mugabe bribed MDC leaders with generous salaries and allowances. $4 million Highlands mansion for Tsvangirai, a former white-owned farm for Welshman Mugabe, ministerial limousines, etc., etc. In return, MDC leaders kicked out the democratic reforms into the prickly pear thicket. Because Tsvangirai and company did not care about the common people, the dire consequences of failing to dismantle the ZANU-PF dictatorship. We are the ones who are stuck with the corrupt, tyrannical, and vote-rigging ZANU-PF dictatorships and are suffering consequences. Zimbabweans have failed to see MDC leaders for whom they are: corrupt, incompetent, and even with the evidence of their blatant selling out during the GNU. It was the same short-sightedness that resulted in Zimbabweans taking over 20 years before many of them finally accepted ZANU-PF was a party of corrupt, incompetent, and ruthless thugs. The root cause of this collective myopic attitude is because Zimbabweans are not paying attention to detail. Our understanding of issues is superficial, potato skin deep at best. Many Zimbabweans have no clue what democratic reforms the nation has been dying for are, for example. MDC supporters have been clamoring for change. Chinja maitiro chinja. The majority have no idea what changes they want. And hence, the reason they are blissfully unaware their leaders sold out on this very issue during the GNU. If we are serious about wanting a democratic, just, and prosperous Zimbabwe, then we must do our homework and pay meticulous attention to detail. A healthy and functional democracy demands an informed and diligent electorate, and not one that will sheepishly follow a corrupt and murderous dictator for decades, only to follow a corrupt and incompetent sellout next.